Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. We are all safety professional. So the best thing, as per my thinking, to start with the safety movement. And the safety movement which I have chosen for today is stress. And there is definitely a reason why I have chosen stress. Everybody has experienced, in my opinion, stress at one point or other in their lifetime. That, in my opinion, every one of us have faced it, and particularly the current time is very unique. And believe me, it is not once in lifetime. It's much more than that, and that is our pandemic. Because of the pandemic, we are living in a different world. We are not able to see our close ones. We are not able to travel. People are losing jobs. People are feeling insecure. A lot of things. So I thought it's very relevant time. Let me talk a little bit about the stress. And this safety movement is, what is stress? How do we know it? What are the symptoms? And why it causes, why it comes, why people feel stressed. And then I'll give you some simple tips. I'm not an expert. The simple tips, simple things always work. Simple tips to manage the stress so that we can live a better life. We can live a more comfortable life. We can be more efficient and effective in our daily course, wherever and whatever we are doing. So stress is actually condition of your physical and mental well-being. It can come from anything. We'll see those causes later. Actually, stress is how your body reacts to the current situation. When your body reacts to the current situation as per your ability, as per your intelligence level, as per your role, then you can say that, oh, the person is not stressed. But when those reactions, particularly reactions to the challenging conditions, are not abnormal, then it's an indication that the person is under stress. And how do we recognize it? What are the symptoms? Those symptoms are broadly categorized in two categories. One is your behavior change. You become angry very easily. You become restless. Your reactions are like knee-jerk reactions. You lose control easily. You can't concentrate on what you are doing. You can't give your output to your ability. So these are the behavioral symptoms, indication that a person, which could be me, which could be you, which could be any of our colleague, is stressed. And then when a person is stressed, I have seen it, and this is what I read, that's what the experts say, the person's behavior forces him to go back into his own shell. And believe me, that is one of the most dangerous thing for a stressed person. But it happens that people go into their own shell. They stop meeting their colleagues, they stop meeting their friends, they stop participating in social events. So these are the behavioral symptoms which we can recognize. We don't need any expert to tell us that you or your colleague is stressed. We ourselves can recognize it. And then there are some health symptoms, some health indications. You feel fatigued, you feel tired. You can have, these diseases like hypertension, high blood pressure. Your eating habits starts changing. Generally, you start eating more. You start putting weight. So these are all the indication which we can ourselves recognize. So what? Okay, we know what is stress. We know what are the symptoms. What can we do? We can identify those causes, and then we should work to eliminate those causes so that we can manage the stress and we can live a healthy life. And what are those causes? Those causes can be a work environment. We, as a human being, we always like to be in our comfort zone. When our work environment changes, when we move from one work environment to other work environment, obviously when you have worked in your particular work environment for some time, that becomes your comfort zone. And when you move away from your comfort zone, unknowingly, unconsciously, you become stressed. There can be some personal issues, there can be financial issues, there can be family issues, there can be relationship issues, depending on your age, your relationship with your loved one, your children, your other family members, your friends, your colleagues. For young people, I know there may be many young participants, many young delegates in the webinar with your fiancés. So those relationship issues, personal issues, change in your work environment, and one of the things which you will find little strange, brain in the human body is the laziest organ. Laziest, right? At the same time, it's the smartest organ. So brain has a tendency to refuse anything new. So whenever a new technology is imposed on us, a new work is imposed on us, our brain reacts, oh, this is not my cup of tea, and that brings stress. Globalization, technological changes, these are the reasons which can result into stress. Once we know them, we don't have to feel guilty, we don't have to be ashamed. This is a purely human behavior. This is purely part of our daily life. We should try to work to eliminate those causes. We must exercise more and more to remain more healthy mentally and physically. We must socialize. I have said before that when a person is stressed, he starts avoiding the social contacts. That shouldn't be done. We should socialize more. It's like a pressure cooker situation. A very simple example: in pressure cooker, when you cook something, it gets pressurizes, and the vessel has some capacity. There is a whistle, it lifts, it releases the pressure. But if you put some weight on the whistle, or for some reason it does not release the pressure, what happens? The rupture disc goes, and then you cannot use it. The same applies to human being. If you do not vent your worries, if you do not talk about your worries, one day they are going to burst the rupture disc in your body, in your system, and that will make you less effective, less efficient, and can be sometimes fatal. So eat healthy, and there is no shame, there is no hesitation. In case if I'm not able to manage it, go and ask for help. Why do we do it? Why should I do it even if I'm stressed? So that I can lead a more healthy mentally and physically. I can deliver more professionally, effectively, and efficiently. Thank you from my side.